Welcome to my channel. Uh, Basically decided to start this channel because I'm pretty much a stay-at-home fiance, soon-to-be wife. I'm engaged. Just kind of wanted to jump on here to talk to you guys, fill some of my time. A lot of my videos are probably going to be you guys tagging along with me while I clean or draw and listen to music. I love art. I love to draw. I love to write my own songs and poems and things like that. So if any of that sounds like something that you would enjoy, feel free to stick around, like and subscribe as well. But yeah, I guess in this video, it's kind of just me cleaning my kitchen. And I'm kind of just gonna do this voiceover and talk at you guys. I don't know about any of you, but I struggle with ADHD. So I find that body doubling or feeling like I have someone else there while I clean, especially if they're like talking, then it just feels like I'm just cleaning and like talking with a friend. I don't know if that helps you guys, but I know it helps me, so probably a lot of my videos are going to be in that type of format where I'm cleaning like this and then doing the voiceover. I do anticipate that quite a few of my videos will also be vlog style. I'd also like to get into maybe doing like some short form content like reels and stuff like that. But I figured for my first video at least I'll start something that's maybe a little longer and just chit chat with you guys. So basically just cleaning my kitchen, which the entire apartment's not that big, but right now we're just focusing on the kitchen. Doing some dishes, so that when my fiance gets home from work, he doesn't have to do very much. Yes, I said very much. That might be a controversial view, because I know a lot of people might do the stay-at-home thing. Their partner works and they stay at home and they take care of the entire home and cleaning everything, cooking. Like, while I would love to clean the entire apartment, even though it's not that big, my partner and I have this understanding, especially because I struggle with chronic pain. I don't have an official like diagnosis. Technically I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, but lately I've been like more sick and in pain than usual, so I kind of suspect that something else might be going on. But with that being said, my partner and I have this understanding where, yes, he works 10-hour days, Monday through Thursday. Friday's his short day, but he always says, like, I just got off the phone with him not too long ago while he was on his break, and he said, whatever you can't get to, I'll just take care of it when I get home. And he understands that I have my good days, I have my bad days. I do what I can when I can. And just last night I had a flare-up that literally brought me to tears. And it wasn't just the pain aspect of it, it was like I found myself feeling guilty. And, he's asking me, like, do you want me to do this? Do you want me to help with that? Which is like a foot rub. And I'm like, no, like, it's fine. Like, it shouldn't be a big deal. But like I said, this was a particularly bad time. I'm not sure, like, what's going on. But lately I've been, like, really nauseous on top of the pain that I struggle with pretty much every day. So when the nausea hits, it just takes me out. Just like, take me out, coach. I'm done. So, like, he was like, I'll get you some Pepto-Bismol. Would you like a ginger ale? And I was like, like I said, going back to, like, the guilt. Like, if any of you guys struggle with any type of chronic pain, chronic illness, especially one where you have your good days and then you have your bad days, it's difficult to come to terms with the fact that, like me, maybe you can't do all the same things you did before, or in the same way that you did before. Because before, I used to be able to run, go, like, out of the house, running errands most of the day, and then I would come back, tidy up, cook, like, all that, and, like, still have energy. These days, it's more like I can pick, like, a couple decent-sized tasks, and then, like, I have to rest a lot, and it's, like, guilt, and I have a tendency to really, like, beat myself up, like, man, I should be able to do this, like, and I was diagnosed with fibro probably about 5 years ago now, so it's still something that I'm struggling to come to terms with, and as I always say, progress is not linear. So just like I have my good and bad days with pain and sickness, I have my good and bad days with accepting this new me, I guess, for lack of a better term. But yeah, I feel like I lucked out in terms of finding a partner who understands. And if he doesn't understand something, he'll ask questions, or he'll literally sit there and he'll research things that could help me. Or like, oh, I saw this article, like, have you tried this? Or do you think this might help? And it's just a world of difference from anything I've ever known. I'm 30 years old. I've been engaged a few times, and I can honestly say this is the first time that I see us actually, like, getting married, sticking it out. And, I'm a very, like, straightforward, honest person. So, like, he and I, we've had our rough patches. We have honestly been off and on for about 8 years. I would say, yeah, like 8 years. A lot of times off more than on, but I don't know, just this time, in certain ways, we both, like, locked in and just decided to take each other seriously. Like, it's not all been him and it's not all been me. It's like, this time it was him, this time it was me. I did this, he did that. Like, neither of us were perfect. We both did things that were just not kind to each other. I'm not gonna make excuses. Like, some of that, like, both of us have been through traumatic experiences with how we were raised and in previous relationships. And like I said, we were off and on, so those relationships in between, especially a lot on my end, just like really did a number on us. And like I just truly never thought we would be at this moment where we are now. Like, originally he's from Michigan, or at least he was living in Michigan when I met him, and I'm from Ohio. And he moved to Oklahoma, and this last time we got back together, he told me, like, why don't you come down here? And honestly, I thought it was a crazy idea, but I didn't really give it too much thought because of the headspace that I was in. I'm not advising this by any means, but again, I like to keep it real. So, like, I struggle with mental illness. We can get more in depth with that in another video, but surface level, I struggle with mental illness, and the relationship that I was in prior to us getting back together, it really did a number on me, and I essentially had a complete mental breakdown. Like, I couldn't function, I couldn't do anything. Like, at that point, I had my own apartment in Ohio, my first ever apartment by myself, and I kind of made the mistake of letting my boyfriend at the time move in with me, and it was just one of those situations where, again, I'm not perfect by any means. I just think there was a lot on his end, especially, I'm not gonna lie, because I tend to always end up with people who are younger than me for the most part. I think I've dated a few people that were at least a few years older than me, but for the most part, it's been people who are younger than me. Like, my fiance, he is 3 years younger than me, which is not bad, in my opinion. Like, the maturity level and the communication and all that is, I don't want to say great, but by our standards, it's pretty good. But as I said, my ex that I let move in, he was quite a few years younger than me. He was 21, and I was 29 at the time. And just the whole dynamic, and I'm not knocking different relationship dynamics. Like, if something like that works for you, that's cool. It's just with the age gap the way it was, and then it was one of those situations where it was my apartment, my name was on the lease, nobody else. I got all the furniture and everything for my apartment, which I was very proud of because it was my first ever apartment at 29, and I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm actually very proud of that, because I didn't have a lot of the advantages and resources and things like that most people had. But I've always done the best I could, and finally was able to get my own apartment. I was thriving. I was doing well for quite a while, and then, you know, I let a family member like kind of set me up with this guy, and it's like, he's young, but he's kind of cute, so I'll give it a try. And one thing led to another, and I guess you could say technically it was like a situation. Maybe it was more like a hookup kind of thing, because like he came over to hang out, and like we decided to do the do, and then he just kind of never left. He kind of gave me like this whole like sob story about how his roommate, like he was living in his friend's basement and like he couldn't afford rent. So I was like, oh, just like move in with me. All I ask is that you help out with this or that, just little stuff. And it was fine for a little bit, and then like pretty quickly it turned into, I'm paying all the bills. Granted, like I said, it was my apartment, my name was on the lease and everything. But I guess I have a certain expectation of when you decide to be with me or live with me. If I have if you're another person there, I expect some help. I don't, especially when you are adding to my load instead of like helping me carry it, that starts to be a problem. So, yeah, it got to be too much, and I essentially had a breakdown because I was paying for everything. I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was doing everything, and he would just sit and play video games. Anytime I would ask him, like, hey, can you help me clean up? He literally would do this thing where he would, like, get so mad and then, like, rage clean. And then, like, just start, like, throwing stuff. So, yeah, after so many months of, like, going through that, and then not to mention that I found out that I was pregnant by him and ended up having a miscarriage. And he just, one night, just, like, left in the middle of the night. And I woke up and he was gone, and I just spiraled from there. And like I said, that's when, Tim got in contact with me, and I told him everything. And he was like, just move down here. We don't even have to, like, be together. Just, like, come here, get stable, get better. And, it was kind of one of those things where, like, one thing led to another, and, we started, like, working on us and working back towards a relationship, and I feel like we are better than ever, and, it seems like he feels the same. Like, I feel like we're just on the same page with everything, and I've never really clicked with anybody like that. Like I said, even when we were together in the past, it's just so different, and it just goes to show, like, taking the time to change and grow and mature, like, it really makes a difference. But yeah, I'm really excited because, like, we're getting married October 31st, which is like a month away, and it's Halloween, my favorite holiday. So I'm like so excited. I can't wait to show you guys maybe some highlights from the day. It's nothing super fancy. We're not doing like a big ceremony. It's just kind of going to be an intimate courthouse type ceremony, and then like later on we're going to do like a big reception / party, like maybe in the springtime with like family and friends. But yeah, I'm so excited to share this journey with you guys, and see what happens. But I guess that's it for now. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.